Well, it's day 5 of World's Group Stage with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm joined right now by Jensen after an interesting day for them. Unfortunately, not making it out of groups. Jensen, I know that obviously it sucks to not make it out, but it did seem like the team had pretty good high spirits in the T1 game as we saw some interesting picks and some interesting skirmishes. So, how's the team holding up right now?
Um, a bit better than I expected, I guess. I mean, I think when we lost to EGG, everyone was like pretty crushed. But I think at the same time, going into today, I think everyone knew that our chances would be pretty slim. So I think the fact that like it was maybe like a little bit expected, kind of helps a bit to cope with the pain, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we tried to put on a show the last game, and we had as much fun as we could.
You got to go up against Faker. Do you feel like, even though you guys lost, that you did clap Faker? Because there were several little fights between the two of you, and I don't know if you were taking those fights because you're like, "Oh, here's like a play I could make," or what was leading you to going up against him like that.
I think, I mean, going into the game, we had nothing to really play for besides winning, right? So I just told my team, I just want to play Akali. I don't really care what the situation is. I'm picking Akali no matter what. So I just wanted to have some fun, basically, and try to play something else than control mages for once. And yeah, I guess it's a bonus that it was against Faker, but I was kind of, I was still trying to win the game and try to do what was optimal in the game. But I did have to happen to have some fun in the game as well. Yeah.
Now, I know obviously this is not the result that you or the team wanted, but given sort of the Cloud9 arc, because I remember it's like you came back in the summer, team struggled for a long time, suddenly just popped off during finals and playoffs, and now here, what are your feelings on the sort of story of Cloud9 and you for this year?
I mean, right now it's for sure a bit depressing, I guess. But looking at it in a bigger perspective, I'd say it's still a success. Coming off not playing in spring to winning summer was definitely not something I expected. And yeah, I mean, I was happy that this year happened regardless of the world's result, and I had a lot of fun. So I think looking at the big picture, I'm overall like kind of satisfied with how the year went. I really really wanted to make it out of groups this year because it's been a long time. But the truth is, we were just outclassed. So it is what it is.
Well, you granted North America our first victory after many losses. So we're currently 1-11 after today. But again, that's better than 0-12. What do you think it is that's caused such sort of this devastating failure on the North America side?
Um, Hard to say. I think the other teams are better at pressuring the whole map. At least this Worlds was a big eye opener for me. I was getting three man, four man a lot, it felt like, and they're really good at playing around mid lane, whereas in NA it doesn't really happen that much. So I think this Worlds was a big eye opener for me that like playing around mid lane is super important because I had a really hard time playing the game just because of how much pressure the enemy teams put on me. But I would say it's like the small things that matters the most. I think the other teams are really good at like when there's a pressure point on the map or an opportunity, they are really good at seeing it and like putting multiple resources into it. Like, for example, the just a lot of the pressure on mid lane. Just things like that I think are making the game very hard to play from my perspective at least. And then yeah, it feels like they're better with tempo. They know their matchups a lot better. So we're just getting outplayed and we're falling a bit behind in the laning phase too. At least that's a problem of ours in C9. Yeah, I think those are like the biggest ones right now.
After all these years, is there anything to say after North America's performance like this? It's just I have a hard time coming up with questions about it because I've asked so many times.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a hard time coming up with answers for it because of how many times we've been in this situation. But I don't know. Are there any takeaways from this year?
I mean, I can only speak for myself that like I learned a lot about, just playing through mid lane more. And I think the whole thing is like overblown a little bit. I mean, obviously, it's hard to say that with the results we're at right now, but I mean, I think like for example, 2019 at MSI, we could compete with the best teams in the world, right? So I think it's a little bit overblown, but they are like generally just better than North America, which is true. But I definitely think that like we can compete with the other teams, but it's they are definitely better right now. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
Well, let's shift to something a little nicer then. This was when was the last time that you played in front of a hometown crowd for an international event?
A hometown crowd.
Was it Worlds 20? I mean, because I don't think there's been an MSI since the last Worlds that was here. Maybe
2016.
Tallahassee.
2016 was an NA, right?
Yeah.
I think that was the last time that I played in a home crowd. Unless you wanna consider, no, there was
Like
no crowd for Ice.
Rift Rivals or something like that, which
Yeah.
don't really count. But okay, so whatever. Anyway, you got to do that. You even though obviously you guys went 1-5, you had like a standing ovation from the crowd at the end. So what was it like for you playing in front of this crowd as they were cheering for all of you?
I think this is like what every pro player desire is to have like a lot of support, and having all the fans come out and cheer for us was a very amazing experience. And yeah, I really shout out to the guys in the crowd, everyone. It was a really good experience for me. I really enjoyed it. Sucks we couldn't put up better results, but yeah, playing with a crowd cheering for us was amazing.
Very good. Well, is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there at the end of this World's run, and that's at the end of this year?
I mean, thank you guys for still supporting me. I've been a pro for a very long time, and I'm as disappointed as you guys are, if not more. I think it's been 3 or 4 years now, if not more, since I've made it out of groups, and it's something I really want to like succeed internationally. So I'll keep trying my best, and maybe next year.
Thank you so much, Jensen, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. Hello, I'm going to be going on to the rest of Worlds, even if the rest of North America isn't. I think they will, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, just know that I'll be here for all of Worlds and creating all this content, so maybe you'll subscribe, and with me will be Alienware, because they support everything that I do, and I've got their gear here. Our editor, this video is edited on a Alienware computer, so please check them out. There's a link in the description, and purchasing from them actually really does support the channel. So thank you so much.